20 years ago, traditional healer Dr. Ephraim Mabena began clearing up a dump site to turn into a botanical garden to preserve indigenous medical plants. Now today the site is part of the UNESCO recognized Magaliesburg biosphere and the pride and joy of Mamelodi. The site now belongs to the Motong African Heritage Trust, and this is an important custodian of traditional culture and healing. Mabena's work is said to be honored by the so-called Science Oscars after he made it onto the list of the National Science and Technology Forum for his contribution to engineering and technology. He's the only traditional healer recognized by the forum and says the award is a good thing for the people of Mamelodi as it'll demystify indigenous knowledge systems. The doc joins us now via Zoom link from the capital. Dr. Mabena, thanks very much for your time and welcome to the AM Report. It's quite an interesting story, so perhaps let's start there. Here you are in 2001 wanting to clear a rubbish dump site to create this botanical garden. Why was this important for you?
Well, thank you. Let me start by greeting the listeners and the viewers, and thanks for the opportunity by the channel. And it was just a dream, a dream by the ancestors. And because me as a traditional healer, I felt that it was a command from ancestors, and because of traditional healers have a mammoth task. And you'll remember that we collect our medicine on the mountains, we collect our medicine, our plants on the forest, and so forth. Therefore, it pains me in 2001 to see such a beautiful place like the mountain, and it become a dumping site. It was a dumping site during the apartheid era, and it continued. And I felt that these mountains needed a person, needed a community to take care of them, because of we fetch our plants there. And there was this sudden dream that I must climb the mountain and make sure that I prove myself as a traditional healer, that the mountains are so special to us as traditional healers and other communities and other religious community people and so forth. So I decided, that was in 2001, that I must try and say sorry to Magalies Mountain. It is un-African to leave such a beautiful space to become a dumping site.
It's interesting you use those words, it's un-African to not, I guess, take care of nature the way we need to. And the reason why I raise this is that there's still a perception, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, Doc, that issues to do with nature, with preserving things, especially botany, the study of plants, are still very elitist exercises, things left mostly for rich white people. What's your response to that perception? How do you think we should be responding to nature, especially for, typically communities in places like Mamelodi?
Surely, even if I couldn't hear you clear, but to me, it's this award. It's not about myself. And surely, being a traditional healer, there are traditional healers who might have had a dream to do what I'm doing, but they were not given an opportunity. And thanks for the democratic dispensation government and to giving us the opportunity to showcase more especially on indigenous knowledge system. And you'll understand that during the apartheid era, traditional medicine practitioners were not actually taken care, and were not even given a platform to showcase their pride. And that's what I can say.
Yeah, the award you refer to is the one granted by the National Science and Technology Forum, otherwise known as the Science Oscars. We'll speak a bit more about what the award means for the community, but I'm also interested, Doc, in some of the underlying issues, right? Often
yes.
It feels like Western science and traditional medicine speak across each other as opposed to speaking to each other. How does your work help bridge that gap?
I think it does work, because now it's very, very important, because, as a traditional healer, there are similarities in this science. And I must say, we're learning from other countries like the Chinese countries. You'll understand that other countries like China, India are much more ahead and working hand in glove. And this opportunity is long overdue because there is a lot that Western medicine or Western science can learn from indigenous science. We definitely need each other. There is no science that is the jack of all trades. And even if we are all these sciences, especially on traditional medicine, the focus is about health. More especially is we are facing our country, or globally we are faced by this mammoth, task of the disaster of this, COVID-19. That's where now I think we definitely need each other at this, a hard time. Irrespective if they are different, how they do, other science do, how they do things, how we do things. But speaking on the issue of medicine, speaking on the issues of primary health care, we definitely need each other because the focus is about, it's about health.
Absolutely. And the big health crisis that we all currently faced with now, Doc, is obviously this COVID-19 pandemic. Take us through the contributions that traditional medicine can make in our efforts to try and beat this health crisis.
I think it's long, as I've said, it's long overdue. And you'll remember now that after Madagascar, I will just make an example that after the Madagascar came up with, a plant called Artemisia. And that is a sign that Artemisia was one of the Artemisia lingana Gasutu. That was one of the plants that was not very taken very seriously. And in traditional medicine, there are quite a number of plants that can manage problems of flu and cold and so forth. But now this platform of traditional medicine was not given enough, to showcase about that. But as I said, there is a lot that traditional medicine can help. Not only, especially on the issue of COVID-19 and other ailments. We are still faced with, mammoth task that there are quite a number of diseases that traditional medicines were able to what you call. The only thing is that, the terminologies that are used that by traditional medicine in terms of naming the diseases, in naming, the signs and symptoms, they both differ and differ. And, but there is a lot that we can play a lot. As now that there are plants that different traditional healers are coming forward with, to these plants to be tested, that they can play an important role.
So let's talk about this award then, Doc. It's given by the National Science and Technology Forum, no doubt a prestigious international recognition for the work that you've been doing. How far do you think it'll go in demystifying these indigenous knowledge systems, especially in communities like Mamelodi?
I'm overwhelmed. I must say I'm overwhelmed, as I've said earlier on. This award, it's not for myself, and this award is just to showcase those who were saying bad things about traditional medicine. This is an education that traditional healers can go far. Traditional healers have a mammoth task if are given, enough space. Traditional healers are doers. There are good traditional healers out there, and that the government can learn, or other people, especially the people who have been talking bad about traditional medicine. It is time now to showcase, to learn from traditional healers. They are doers. They were doers, and they were doing wonderful things. They were taking care of, the communities, where in the area, in Bundu areas, in areas where there were no doctors, and in areas where the doctor cannot go up down the mountain. Surely I believe that there was an elder an elder who was taking care of that particular village. And I must say, this award is, I want to salute, the people, the heroes, the fallen heroes in traditional healing, those who have played an important role. Mentioning Ubabu Credo, the late Ubabu Credo Mutwa is one of them. And even in my communities, there are traditional healers who are doers, who never had this opportunity to. I always hear about them, that there was Mama so-and-so, Baba so-and-so, who were taking care of, the communities, was good at treating Abandona and so forth. This award belongs to them. This award belongs to the community that you have been taking care of me, supporting me. This award belongs to, the generation to come, especially who are going to be traditional healers. This award belongs to the family that is actually has been very, especially my wife. We've been very supportive because, I was actually stealing money from home without telling her that I'm busy, I'm married, I'm in love with the mountain. And not forgetting my kids, of course, not even forgetting, the departments who have played such a very important role. I'm overwhelmed because, I still need to know how I came about, how did the forum came to see me through the eye of the eye of indigenous knowledge that I must really elect.
Absolutely.